Los Angeles Dodgers fans, buckle up because things are starting to heat up in the City of Angels. We're heading into an off-season that could change everything, and according to the latest buzz from around the league, the Dodgers are ready to throw down the gauntlet. The front office knows this might be their last chance to go all in before the new collective bargaining agreement hits in 2 years. And the word coming out of baseball's inner circles is simple. Los Angeles is about to spend, and they're not planning to hold back one bit. When you think about the Dodgers, you think about structure, precision, and a front office that always seems 3 steps ahead of everyone else. Andrew Friedman has built a reputation as one of the smartest minds in baseball, and this winter, it looks like that brain of his is ticking louder than ever. After freeing up more than $80 million with the departures of veteran names like Clayton Kershaw, Michael Conforto, Chris Taylor, and Kirby Yates, the Dodgers have room to make serious moves. That kind of payroll flexibility doesn't come around every year, and you can bet they're not going to waste it. Reports are saying that the Dodgers could be the most aggressive team in free agency this winter. Now, baseball free agency isn't like basketball or football, where everything happens overnight. In MLB, things move slowly, sometimes painfully slow. You'll see rumors flying around for weeks before a single big signing happens. But this year feels different. There's a sense of urgency around Chavez Ravine, a feeling that this could be the last dance before a salary cap or stricter spending rules change the game. And that's exactly why Friedman and company might be preparing to unleash their full financial power while they still can. Ken Rosenthal dropped a quote that's been making waves across the baseball world. He said that a rival executive told him the Dodgers are expected to be even more active than usual this winter, precisely because of those looming CBA changes. Think about that for a second. The Dodgers are already one of the most active teams in baseball. If they're planning to take it up another level, we could be witnessing an off-season like no other. So what does that mean in practical terms? It means big names, bold trades, and possibly a complete reshaping of their outfield. The team has already been linked to players like Kyle Tucker, Edwin Diaz, and Shota Imanaga, but there's one name that's been popping up more recently and getting some serious attention: Trent Grisham. Rosenthal specifically mentioned him as a player the Dodgers have had their eye on, and it's easy to see why. Grisham is coming off a season that turned a lot of heads. His power numbers jumped dramatically. 34 home runs for a player standing at just 5'10" is no joke. He's also got solid plate discipline, with over 80 walks in fewer than 500 at-bats, though yes, the strikeouts are still there. He struck out over 130 times this past season, but in today's game, that's hardly a deal-breaker. What matters is that he's productive, versatile, and most importantly, improving. And here's what makes it even more intriguing. The Dodgers know this guy. They've seen him plenty of times from his days with the Padres, and that familiarity could make them confident he'd fit right into their system. He's not going to demand a long-term, blockbuster deal like Tucker would, and that might appeal to the Dodgers if they want to make a splash without tying up too much money for too many years. Still, given how much they've freed up, it's hard not to imagine them chasing both immediate impact and long-term star power. Kyle Tucker, on the other hand, feels like the ultimate target. He's young, he's talented, and when healthy, he's one of the best all-around outfielders in the league. He's got the kind of bat that changes lineups and the kind of glove that makes pitchers sleep easier. The idea of him patrolling right field in Dodger blue is one that fans can't help but get excited about. Imagine Tucker and Mookie Betts together in the same lineup. That's pure chaos for opposing pitchers. But it's not just about the offense. Rosenthal also mentioned that Los Angeles plans to strengthen the bullpen, and that could be where things get even more interesting. You can never have too many arms in the pen, especially for a team that has its eyes set on another deep postseason run. One name floating around is Edwin Diaz, the electric closer who, despite a couple of up-and-down years, still owns one of the nastiest repertoires in baseball. His ERA last season sat just above 1.5, and his strikeout-to-walk ratio was elite. He's the kind of shutdown reliever who could turn late-inning tension into confidence. Now, let's be honest here. Diaz isn't going to come cheap. But if the Dodgers are truly in that spin like there's no tomorrow mindset, this is the type of move that makes perfect sense. A dominant bullpen is what separates good teams from championship teams, and Los Angeles knows that better than anyone. They've seen what happens when the bullpen wobbles in October. Diaz would instantly bring stability, swagger, and intimidation to those final innings. Of course, there's also the situation with Teoscar Hernandez. Last season wasn't quite the same story for him. His average dropped from .272 to .247. His home run count went down, and his defense, well, let's just say it left a lot to be desired. There were moments during the World Series where his glove looked like more of a liability than an asset. The Dodgers know that if they're going to invest heavily in the outfield, they need a defensive upgrade, not just another big bat. That's why someone like Grisham, who can play all three outfield spots with decent range, suddenly looks like a valuable piece of the puzzle. The Dodgers front office is in a fascinating spot right now. On one hand, they've got a core that's proven, experienced, and still elite. On the other, they know the window for total financial freedom might be closing soon. This is the kind of offseason where dynasties either evolve or start to crumble. And if there's one thing we've learned about this organization over the past decade, it's that they don't like sitting still. Even if they don't land every single name on their wish list, the message is clear. Los Angeles is going to push the limits of what's possible this winter. They're not just looking for depth, they're looking for stars, difference makers, players who can help them chase another championship banner. Whether it's Tucker in right, Grisham in center, or Diaz slamming the door in the ninth, this offseason feels like a statement waiting to happen. The whispers are turning into anticipation. Executives around the league are watching. Fans are refreshing their feeds by the hour, and you can feel the energy building around Dodger Stadium. Something big is brewing in Los Angeles. And if history tells us anything, when the Dodgers decide to go big, they don't miss. When you start to piece everything together, it becomes clear that the Dodgers aren't just planning a typical offseason. This feels like the kind of moment that will define the next decade of the franchise. They know exactly who they are, and they know what's at stake. You can sense that drive from the front office down to the players who've been part of this run. After falling short of another World Series title, Los Angeles isn't interested in small fixes or patchwork solutions. They want dominance. They want to leave no doubt that they're still the team to beat. It's fascinating how much the potential changes in the collective bargaining agreement have sparked this urgency. The idea of a salary cap or stricter spending penalties might sound far off, but it's already influencing decisions. Teams with deep pockets are starting to realize that their days of spending freely could be numbered. For the Dodgers, a club that's mastered the art of balancing analytics with aggression, this means the clock is ticking. They've built a sustainable system, yes, but part of their power has always been their ability to outspend and outthink everyone else at the same time. If the financial part of that equation tightens, the landscape shifts dramatically. So, Friedman and his crew are treating this like a final run at complete financial freedom. They've already positioned themselves perfectly. By clearing nearly $90 million in payroll, they've opened the door to multiple blockbuster signings without even dipping into uncomfortable luxury tax territory. That's strategic brilliance, and it shows how they've been planning this move well in advance. Now, the question isn't whether they'll spend, it's how they'll spend. Will they spread that money across several key pieces, or will they go for one massive swing that shakes up the league? Kyle Tucker represents that kind of swing. Bringing in a player of his caliber would be a statement that echoes throughout baseball. Imagine a lineup with Betts, Freeman, Smith, and Tucker anchoring the top four spots. It's the kind of offensive firepower that gives pitchers nightmares. Tucker's ability to hit for both power and average, combined with his solid defense, makes him one of the most complete players in the game. He's entering his prime, and while the cost would be enormous, likely a long-term contract worth hundreds of millions, it would also secure the Dodgers' outfield for years to come. But that's where the intrigue lies. Do the Dodgers want to commit that heavily right now? Or do they prefer flexibility heading into the uncertain CBA era? That's where Trent Grisham's name becomes even more relevant. He's not a superstar, not yet at least, but he's a solid piece who's trending upward. His improvements in power, his ability to play all three outfield spots, and his familiarity with the division all make him a smart addition. Grisham represents a balance between spending and value, between immediate help and future flexibility. Still, knowing the Dodgers' recent history, it's hard to imagine them playing it safe. This organization thrives on making bold moves. When they see a window, they crash through it. That's why names like Edwin Diaz come up when people discuss their bullpen plans. Diaz brings not just talent, but attitude. He's the kind of closer who changes the atmosphere the moment he steps on the mound. The numbers don't lie. An ERA hovering around 1.5, nearly 14 strikeouts per 9 innings, and a track record of shutting down the biggest moments. The Dodgers know how valuable that is. They've lived through too many Octobers where one shaky inning cost them everything. Building a lockdown bullpen could be their biggest priority, especially after how unpredictable relief pitching has become league-wide. If Diaz is available and willing, that's the type of deal that fits perfectly into their win-now mindset. But the puzzle goes beyond pitching and outfield depth. The Dodgers are also looking at the chemistry and structure of their lineup. Players like Teoscar Hernandez have been crucial in keeping the offense dynamic, but there's no denying his decline. The drop in batting average and home runs was one thing, but the defensive struggles were harder to ignore. When your right fielder becomes a defensive liability in critical games, it forces tough decisions. Los Angeles can't afford that if they're chasing another title. That's why they're exploring every option to upgrade. What's so fascinating is how the Dodgers managed to remain calm in the middle of all this chaos. Other franchises might panic after falling short, but Los Angeles treats each offseason like a chess match. They don't react, they anticipate. Every rumor, every small move, feels like it's part of a larger plan. You can almost sense that Friedman already has his priorities lined up, and the rest of the league is just trying to keep up. There's also a sense of confidence that comes from their farm system. The Dodgers have one of the deepest pipelines in baseball, and that gives them leverage. They can afford to trade prospects for established stars without gutting their future. It's that combination of depth and resources that makes them such a powerhouse. Even if the new CBA limits their spending down the road, they'll still have a foundation built on young, controllable talent. And let's not forget what motivates this entire push: winning another championship. The Dodgers aren't content with just being competitive. They've reached that stage where only titles matter. Each roster decision is made with October in mind. They don't just want to reach the postseason. They want to dominate it. They've got the talent, the resources, and the leadership to do it again. What they need now are the final pieces to make that championship puzzle complete. But before we move forward, don't forget to join our channel and give this video a like. Your support helps us keep delivering the latest news about the Los Angeles Dodgers. We'd love to hear your thoughts on the news, so drop a comment below. Whispers around Major League Baseball are heating up as Kyle Schwarber's departure from Philadelphia seems to have sent shockwaves through the league. Sources close to the team suggest that the Slugger's move could dramatically reshape the Dodgers lineup, injecting an offensive jolt that fans have been craving for years. Schwarber, known for his towering home runs and clutch hitting, has long been a figure of fascination for analysts and fans alike, and now the speculation is that Los Angeles may be the stage for his next chapter. Inside MLB circles, chatter points to the Dodgers' front office seeing Schwarber not just as another bat in the order, but as a potential game-changer in the heart of the lineup. With his raw power and ability to alter a game in a single swing, insiders hint that the Dodgers' offense could be in for a seismic shift. Conversations in the clubhouse reportedly revolve around how Schwarber's presence could relieve pressure on other hitters, create better RBI opportunities, and perhaps even influence pitching strategies league-wide. Meanwhile, Philadelphia fans are left pondering what might have been. Schwarber's exit, while not entirely unexpected, has fueled debates about roster construction, contract management, and the delicate balance between power and consistency. Analysts speculate that his departure may leave a noticeable gap, but the narrative quickly pivots to Los Angeles, where the Dodgers brass appears eager to maximize every inch of Schwarber's talent. Rumors suggest that the Dodgers lineup could become more unpredictable, more fearsome, and more capable of turning tight contests into highlight reel moments. There's talk that Schwarber's leadership in the clubhouse could also bring intangible benefits, especially for younger players learning to navigate the pressure cooker environment of playoff contention. Whether this move will redefine the Dodgers' trajectory or simply add another layer to their already formidable roster remains a favorite topic among sports insiders, with debates raging across podcasts, forums, and social media alike. For now, the story is still unfolding. MLB watchers are circling Schwarber's name. Dodgers fans are buzzing with anticipation, and the league is bracing for what could be one of the most talked-about roster moves of the season. One thing is certain, wherever Kyle Schwarber lands, the whispers will keep growing louder, and the potential impact on the Dodgers lineup is the kind of speculation that makes baseball feel alive in every dugout, on every field, and in every home crowd that dares to dream big. That's all for this update. If you enjoyed the video and want to stay up to date with exclusive news about the Los Angeles Dodgers, be sure to subscribe to our channel and hit that like button. We always appreciate your comments and feedback. See you in the next video.